Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 18th, 2013 Raleigh Board of Selectmen. I call the meeting to order. Remind everybody this meeting is being audio taped. I'm dating myself here. Audio and digitally recorded. There we go. Entered this information age there. Okay, first Pledge of Allegiance. Dick Gagnon, would you lead us on the pledge? Dick is the chairman of the Fire Station Committee.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dick. Okay, next on the agenda, chairman's comments. I have none. Just a quick, just a reminder that next Tuesday at the Raleigh Veterans Association, between 2 and 6, there's a blood drive. That's at 19 Bradford Street, and the Red Cross is conducting the blood drive. So it's always there's always a shortage of blood. So if you partake in that, just a reminder: next Tuesday, the 26th, between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Okay, we have 3 appointments tonight. First appointment would be 7:15. And that will be a joint meeting with the Board of Assessors, a tax classification hearing. 7:30, we have an appointment with Brian Downey to discuss street name change for Fox Meadow condominium development. At 8 p.m., Richard Gagnon, chairman of the Fire Station Committee, for an update. So, it is now 7:03, in 2 minutes, citizen query will begin from 7:05 until 7:15. So first, let's go to general business. Okay, general business memo number 1 from Treasurer Collector Karen Summit, electronic mail billing for motor vehicle excise tax and boat excise bills. We have the opportunity to offer electronic billing for motor vehicle and boat excise tax bills to our taxpayers. We already offer this method of billing to our real estate and property taxpayers. In order for the Treasurer Collector Karen Summit to move forward with this, the Board of Selectmen needs to vote to authorize electronic bills for motor vehicles and boat excise tax. Karen will attend the meeting in December to demonstrate e-billing. So, any discussion from the board on this?
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's an excellent idea. This will help improve, again, enter the information age.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so.
I'll give you an motion.
Right. Well, along with me.
Information age, I understand, Bob, you just did it tonight, but
Yeah, I know.
I certainly hope that Karen's keeping an eye on the protection for the various computers that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
There was a headline in the news tonight at 5 o'clock. A police department somewhere, didn't name the department,
Mm-hmm.
lost all their files and actually had to pay a ransom to get them back.
Pay a ransom?
Pay
Wow.
a ransom to get them back. And it's just, I just feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
With those things going on, and hopefully the protection we have will not allow that to happen.
Well, I
That's-
imagine she has sufficient backup over there. in the
I would hope
office.
so. I would
And
hope
then
so.
off-premise besides that.
Yeah.
I think most entities have that today.
And I think that
Especially.
we should actually maybe ask her and make sure.
Okay.
And I think it would be well worth looking into at
Yes.
this point. So.
Yeah, off-site backup is a requirement.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Joe, you work for the IRS, so you're quite familiar with that.
Yeah, we had backups.
Okay. With that, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, just
Oh, yes.
one other point. It might be worthwhile to see if we could do e-billing with the light bills too. 'Cause I know I pay my
Mm-hmm.
light bill automatically on a monthly basis. And today I got every month I get a bill in the mail, so they're spending postage and paper. And, if people don't want that, me being one of them, then we could get an e-bill. And they automatically deduct it from my checking account anyway, so. it might be worthwhile
I think we
to see if we
can,
can pursue that
I think we
also.
can get that over to the
I thought you could.
whiteboard.
Thank you.
There is something in place to allow payment by email, but I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you can, in other words, all I wanna do is, I'm paying monthly, automatically. I'm just looking to, and maybe there's something been added, that we can just say, no, we don't wanna get the paper bill.
Right.
We'll have to
Right.
get-
Yeah, I'm not, that
It
part
may
of
be there already, I don't know, but
no, that part of it I'm not sure of, so
Okay.
maybe we ought to just check with Dan and see what's going on,
if you would, that'd be great.
okay?
Amy, can you make note of that just in case we forget? Okay, thank you.
Jack made the motion.
Jack made the motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are in citizen query at 7:06. Any queries from the audience? Okay. Moving on. General business number 2, we have a letter of resignation from Carolyn Peabody. Dear Ms. McGill, please be informed that I am resigning my position as administrative assistant effective December 19th, 2013. Thank you for providing me with the opportunity to work for the Council on Aging. I have enjoyed working with the many people that I have met at the council over the past 10 years. Sincerely, Carolyn Peabody. And with that, I have a motion from the board.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I have a second.
and send her a letter.
I send her a letter
Also.
with regrets.
With regret.
With regrets. She's just done a wonderful job
Yeah,
over the
she's
years.
been there a few years.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll send that letter off to Carolyn, and if you're listening tonight, Carolyn, thank you so much for all you've done working over at the Council on Aging.
I'll just add to that.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that I've spent a lot of time over at the council in the past. And Carolyn presents an excellent face to the council, dealing with phones and people walk-ins and the programs they run over there, and has been truly a great asset.
She sure
to the
has.
operation over there, and she's gonna be sorely missed when she does leave.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, moving on, general business number 3, review application from Grenier Associates to the ZBA for non-conforming special permit for dog care facility. The ZBA has sent the attached application to the Board of Selectmen for review. Does the Board of Selectmen have any comments regarding this application that they want forwarded to ZBA? Gentlemen, have you read this document? You're familiar with it?
I did see it in my folder.
Anything that you would like to recommend sending over to ZBA?
I think it's a tough location for anything retail. I mean, it's had retail, the used bookstore and some other things there, and it's a tough location for retail, but it might be a good fit for a dog care facility. And other than making sure that the waste is disposed of properly so that the stream that runs by there doesn't get any more problems with pollution, I think it would probably be a valuable asset.
Yes.
Something that might be a good fit for that location.
Any other recommendations? Comments? Okay. A motion from the board
I'll make that motion.
with what recommendation from Dave?
Right.
Second,
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, that takes care of general business. And we'll move on to old business. It is now about 10 minutes after the hour, still in citizen query. So, old business number 1, 375th Anniversary Committee update from Joe Perry. Joe is the selectman representative to the 375th Anniversary Committee. And with that, Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. We're still in our planning stage, but we are talking about having concerts on the Common every other week through the summer, and finishing up on the weekend of September 6th, 7th, which will be the weekend that we will formally commemorate the anniversary. The town was founded on September 4th, 1639, and we'll be having an opening ceremony on that day, which is a Thursday, and then Friday we'll have some more things going on. Saturday, we're planning a parade possibility, and the picture is going to happen again on the town common. We've set it up, I think they call it a mural picture, and that will happen again. We'll give out the time as we get closer to the event. But we're talking about concerts, and we're trying to get a calendar set up and a commemorative souvenir booklet with all of the dates of anything that's happening in town, so that we can include them. Grange suppers and whatever else is happening will be in our calendar, and hopefully we'll have that published in the spring.
And hopefully by then we'll have all the lights will be on the common.
Yes.
Around the common. Tonight I was just driving down, and I went by, and boy, it sure looks nice.
Doesn't
the
it?
Lights on that side.
It
of the
really
common.
does.
A really nice touch. And then when we just add the rest of them, I have to give accolades to the town common
Restoration Committee.
restoration committee for the
Yep.
common. 'Cause
They did
have
an
done
excellent
a
job.
Great job.
And the water department and the highway department.
And the electric.
Yep,
They've all done a
They-
great job
all-
pitching in.
all the departments. They
Mr.
did.
Chairman,
Yes.
I was wondering, Joe, if regarding the cemetery, we put the new fence up. And it really looks nice.
It does,
And it's-
yes.
It's really a historic cemetery in the sense of a lot of those stones in there. And I'm wondering if, and I was talking to Bob Murray the other day, and he mentioned the fact that sometime in the past, there might be some historical or some information that it was developed on, what some of the stones are, and maybe a couple of walking tours during the celebration of going through, and not only the historic stone. I mean, there's some very old historic stones over here, but we have, discussing the 9/11 monument down there,
Yep.
as well as if you look over on back at the town hall there, there's a set of twins. One of them died in the Lockerbie, Scotland
That's right too.
plane explosion, and her brother died down in, I don't want to say the wrong place, I believe it was Nicaragua or a couple of years later, but there's a lot of, I'm sure, fascinating stories that, and I haven't been in town a long time. I was unaware that something has been developed in the past, but maybe the committee could take a look at putting out some kind of documentation just to
We hope to include it
back up
in the
historic
commemorative bulletin.
nature of that
Right.
cemetery and some of the stories that go along with
Yep.
the burial process.
I think it'd be nice to incorporate all that. And as Bob has talked about the historical significance of Pulpit Rock and the cemetery down there, there's a lot of history to incorporate into the town. And I don't think people really realize, I've been doing some reading, I was talking to Bob just before the meeting, on the Great Awakening, and it was really a catalyst to the American Revolution, part of it. Of course, the British taxes, that helped push us over the edge, but the Great Awakening was really one of the triggers, so.
The other thing too, now that we have the cable news or our TV station, so much of the stuff that's probably been done in the past, it got kind of lost in the shuffle. If we can redo it
Right.
and put it on video and periodically show it, would really give people a chance to see what the history of Raleigh is, and especially as we celebrate the anniversary.
Anniversary. Good suggestions, yes.
Anything else,
For
Joe?
us to incorporate them. Nope, that's
Nope.
it.
Thank you, Joe, for the update. Okay. It is now 7:15, citizen query is now over. Now I have to move from regular business over to my appointment folder. Okay, it is now 7:15. Again, citizen query is over, and our first appointment We have a joint meeting with the Board of Assessors for tax classification. The joint meeting with the Board of Assessors to order by calling for a motion for a joint meeting by roll call vote.
I'll give you that motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. And with a roll call vote,
Jack Cook.
Joe Perry.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Murray.
I, Dave Peterson.
I, Donald Thurston.
Hi, Diane D'Angeli.
Okay, the tax classification hearing is now open. I call for a motion for the tax classification period. Oh, I did that. Okay. And notice, just to let everyone know that on this November 8th, 2013, there was a public, it was publicized in the Daily News. I have that. Should I read that into the record also?
Yes.
Okay. Town of Raleigh Board of Selectmen, tax classification hearing notice is hereby given that the Raleigh Board of Selectmen and the Raleigh Board of Assessors shall meet jointly on Monday, November 18th, 2013 at 7:15 at the Town Hall, 139 Main Street, Route 1A, Raleigh, Mass, to determine the tax classification rates. There shall be residential, open space, commercial, industrial, and personal property for fiscal 2014. All town residents are invited to attend the hearing. Raleigh Board of Selectmen, Robert Snow, Chairman. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we open the tax classification hearing.
I have a motion to open the tax classification hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I, Dave Peterson.
Roll call vote.
With a roll call vote.
Jack Cook.
Joe Perry.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Murray.
I, Dave Peterson.
I, Donald Thurston.
Hi, Diane D'Angeli.
Okay. Okay, with that,
I, Sean McFadden, as the principal assessor, will be speaking tonight. Bill Demento wasn't able to make it. The Board of Assessors met at their meeting at 6 o'clock to vote to recommend to the selectmen a flat rate to continue with one tax rate. I don't know if you have the paperwork I prepared.
yes.
I could just run through it with you
Okay,
quickly.
Sean?
There's been a slight change in the average value of a single-family home in town. Went up $8,300 this year. It was a revaluation year for us. It's nice to see for the first time in a few years the assessments went up between 2.5% to 3%. Because of that, with 2.5% and what was voted at the town meeting, the tax rate's going up 24 cents per thousand from $14.50 to $14.74. That causes the average single-family home to go up $209 a year in tax. Of course, there will be people who will go up more than that, and people who will go down because it is the average. The growth this year was not as we'd like it to be. We always like to be 10 million or above. We almost made it. We were at 9.7 million, which gave us an extra $140,000 in extra money we could raise. Looking with the way the economy has improved and with the building that's going on in town, I expect a substantial change in that next year with the condominiums at the golf course and down the street, along with, we approximately get 6 or 7 new homes a year. So we should see a rebound. And also the sales have been steadily increasing, that I expect to see assessments increase next year also, which will help us, even though nobody wants to hear that.
I know.
But it's always good to have values increase because it reduces our tax rate. And our reduced tax rate looks more appealing for anybody, business and for homeowners looking in town. It just looks good. So that's what the board voted on, and that's what they're proposing and are recommending to you. But the main purpose of tonight's hearing is to also, on page 3, you can shift if you'd like to. Once you have 10% or more in commercial, industrial, and personal property value, you can shift the burden onto the business. We have never done that. The board is not recommending that. But on that final page, it shows you just a slight example, 5% shift saves the average single-family home $48, but the impact on the commercial industrial is $390. It's just not really feasible or worth it. It penalizes good business that we have. We've always been smart in getting good business in town. I'd like more of it, and I'd hate to penalize them because we really don't have an issue, and we're lucky. So that's what the Board of Assessors.
I think you're
It's
correct, John.
recommended.
I think we want to track business, we don't want to pulse them. Okay, any questions from the board? Any comments? Any comments from anyone in the audience? Okay. So with that, have a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Jack Cook.
Aye, Joe Perry.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Mary.
Hi, Dave Peterson.
I, Donald Thurston.
Hi, Diane D'Angeli.
Okay, the hearing is now closed. And with that, take a vote. Do we vote
To set the tax
to
rate?
accept the tax rate now?
No, you'll be just voting to accept the recommendation of the Board of Assessors that it be a flat tax rate for all classes of property in the town.
With that,
I'll make that motion.
have a motion?
Second that.
I have a second. Any discussion for the board? All those in favor?
Roll call.
Or the roll call vote?
Jack Cook.
Aye, Joe Perry.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Mary.
Hi, Dave Peterson.
I, Donald Thurston.
Hi, Diane D'Angeli.
Okay. And with that, thank you.
I need to decide.
Okay. To the left, Sean?
Yes,
Okay. And all of us sign, correct?
yes.
Bob?
I was just, well, got a minute to mention to your board that I get a lot of positive feedback, comments from the staff in your office, in terms of Sean and your new administrator. And it's much appreciated and nice to hear when people have complimentary comments to make about town services. And we often hear only complaints, and it's just, once again, nice to hear the fine job you people and your board does
No.
in dealing with tax issues, which is, and assessments, which isn't always easy to do and have people walk out of the office smiling, so appreciate it
It's
very much.
nice to hear that, because we think very highly of Sean. And
He does a good job.
Thank
Sure
you.
does.
he does an
Good job.
excellent job.
Not an easy job, Sean.
Yeah, been doing
You
it
do a
too
good job.
long.
Thank you.
Talk to me in a month. Remember, it's an average.
Okay. Sean,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a motion to adjourn the joint meeting.
I'll make that
I
motion.
have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
I, Jack Cook.
Aye, Joe Perry.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Mary.
Dave Peterson.
I, Donald Thurston.
Hi, Diane D'Angeli.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Keep the good work.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
That was a quick second.
Okay. Let's go back to my other folder. Okay, go back to old business number 2, request from Water Department to place antenna on Smith Lane cell tower. See attached letter from Water Superintendent John Rizzer. If the Board of Selectmen is in agreement, then the Board needs to vote to approve the Water Department's request and send a letter to SBA/Sprint informing them that the town will be placing an antenna on the tower. The lease with Sprint authorizes the town to place the antenna on the tower. Again, this came from an email from John Rizzer. The Smith Lane the Smith Lane monopole testing has been completed with positive results. The BWC voted on Board of Water Commissioners on 10/22 to request through the Board of Selectmen to mount a permanent repeater to be mounted on the monopole. If the testing was successful, therefore, The commission is requesting the Board of Selectmen to grant permission for a permanent device to be mounted on Smith Lane monopole. Any discussion from the board?
I'm glad that the test was positive and worked out, and that they were able to complete it. And we should go ahead with the installation.
Installation. Sounds good. Bob, any comments?
Yeah, it's one of the, part of the process of building the water treatment plant. And because of our topography between Prospect Hill and Hunsley Hill, there's always been an issue with communications in the Boxford Newbury Road area. And, hopefully this will help overcome some of those issues that we have there. It'll be basically a SCADA system that'll work through this antenna, and it's part of the operation of the water treatment plant. So I'm in favor of it.
Jack, you comment? Dave?
I'm all set.
All set? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay, that concludes old business. I have a few more minutes here. And new business, we have one item, discuss and sign the CIC grant application for NEPDES compliance assistant. The highway surveyor Ron Keefe and the conservation agent Brent Baslak have attended Merrimack Valley Planning Commission meeting on compliance with the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. The Environmental Protection Agency will be issuing the new permit, which will require municipalities to make significant upgrades in the discharge of storm water. Raleigh has an opportunity to receive grant funds towards the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System compliance. The Merrimack Valley Planning Commission is submitting a state community innovation challenge. The grant application on behalf of the MVPC cities and towns. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to participate in the grant application and sign the grant application. There are signature lines for all selectmen. Any questions from the board? Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm assuming, Mr.
I assume
Chairman,
I,
we sign on the, is it on the back page?
There's signature lines on the front and back.
And back.
front and back? Okay. Place for 5 signatures?
Yeah, actually 3 and 2 on the back, so whole line on the back.
Okay. All right.
Print and sign.
Excuse me?
You can also print,
In print?
next line down.
Now they're not,
So
they
if
don't know
you
who
sign
we
it,
are.
we'll fill in, we'll print your name and your title. Mr. Chairman, we have a sign-in sheet circulating. Could you make an announcement to make sure?
Yes,
that one's in?
those who haven't signed in, please get the sign-in sheet and sign it. Also, just to remind everybody, if you walked in, this is being audio and video digitally recorded, this meeting.
That's Just one more item that we have the benefit of from Merrimack Valley.
Yes.
It's certainly been very good to us through the years. I know we do contribute some funding to have them operate, but obviously there's safety in numbers, if you will.
It sure is.
And it helps us to get through some of these projects that we wouldn't be able to handle on our own.
Merrimack Valley's been, of course, I serve on the commission, so I'm kind of an advocate for them. And, we've used them over the years. Remember, we had the problem out there on the flats with between Ipswich and Raleigh
Yep.
about the delineation of where the flats were.
Town boundaries, yeah.
Town boundaries. So it's been a great resource for us as a town. So moving back to appointments. And again, 7:30, we have an appointment with Brian Downey. Brian, come on down to the front, please. To discuss the street name change for Fox Meadows condominium. If anybody else is,
Yeah, actually, Karen Herrick is here also. She's the secretary of our board and actually the
okay,
chairman. of
come
the
on
board.
down. Anybody else?
And we have a couple of
We
association members.
we reserve these seats for you up front, okay? Now we're gonna put your hot seat, we're just gonna reserve it there, okay? Okay. 7:30 appointment, Brian Downey to discuss a street name change for Fox Meadow condominium development. Representatives from Fox Meadow Condominium Association have requested a street name change. The Fox Meadows units are accessed through the driveway off Route 1 Newburyport Turnpike. The street address for Fox Meadow is 545 Newburyport Turnpike. There is another house located on this driveway at 531 Newburyport Turnpike. The home at 531 Newburyport Turnpike does not have direct frontage on Newburyport Turnpike. The Fox Meadow was authorized under the site plan approval with conditions and the OSRD, the Open Space Residential Development Special Permit, approved by the Planning Board in 2004. Changes to the legal frontage and access via the current driveway most likely will require a change to the permit and site plan. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, and Mr. Downey?
Sure. I guess one of the biggest issues for the members of the association, and I think also for the folks at 531, is people have a lot of difficulty finding us. We actually have some photos we can show you of the entry to our condo. We do have a sign out there with our street number. We've put different things out there to try to delineate where it is, but people tend to go back and forth multiple times for it. And actually, on a couple of occasions when police and fire have had to respond, they've had some difficulty finding it as well, although I think we've kind of worked out some of those issues. We went through our own association and renumbered our buildings to make it clear from the streets when there is emergency vehicles on the property. But if you compare Fox Meadows to really all the other condominium developments that are going in town, they all are off of major roads, whether it's 133 or Main Street, and they have different street names. And what we'd really like to do to really resolve the issues is get the street designated as Fox Meadows Drive. And my understanding is once that's approved, it goes to the post office, then it ends up in GPS systems and things like that. And that's what we really want to do, really for safety issues and also for the convenience of the folks living there. And it's something that we actually, as you may or may not recall, we had some issues where our initial developer defaulted, and we ended up with a bond that the town was holding that we had to work with the planning board, and we had to go to a special town meeting to get that all worked on. So this has been on our list for a while to address, and we've got those issues behind us, those legacy issues behind us, and this is kind of one of the last things we wanted to try to work on.
Any other comments from anybody?
I understand there's a resident in the house
There's one
that
additional.
objects to this.
I believe he does object to it. There is one, it's actually kind of funny because this issue we've been talking about, and apparently Mr. Dumaine, who owns unit 530, number 531 Newburyport Turnpike, which is really, according to the site plans I've looked at, doesn't abut Newburyport Turnpike, but is accessed through an access easement that is part of the overall site plan. He's 531 Newburyport Turnpike, and I think he's having difficulty as well finding him, because he recently put a sign that he had kind of handmade out on the front. Well, that's actually the second sign, because someone took the sign that was out there. It was not really overly professional, and we were actually going to contact him about this whole issue, because we have the same issue, and try to talk about doing a street name. So I contacted our management company and asked them to reach out to him to talk about it. In the meantime, I think he got a little upset that his sign was taken, and he put up that other sign that you see, which is technically on his land, I guess, but it's a little ways back. But I think it points out that he's having the same issue. And if this was something that were allowed, the association would be willing to actually buy a street sign that matches the rest of the Raleigh street signs and put it out on Route 1, and, then
Problem solved.
problem solved, right? That's kind of
I guess, Mr. Chairman, my question is, I'm not sure what jurisdiction this board has. You're talking about a private road that goes into your condominium complex, and we deal with public roads, and we don't plow it, we don't maintain it, we
That's
don't
right.
do anything with it. So I'm not sure why. I'm not sure that we have the authority to change this. In other words, I think you need to go back to, and I think there's some indication you need to go back to the planning board and go through them. And I don't think this board would has the authority to either say you can change it or you can't change it. If you work through the planning board and they authorize the changes in the original subdivision plan, and you want to call it whatever you want to call it, I think as long as it doesn't conflict with another name of another street in town, I'm supposing that would be fine, and I don't think we would or could object to it on a legal basis, because it's not a public. We're not trying to change the name of a public road. You're looking to change.
No, that's
You're
true.
looking to create a new private road with a name rather than just being an address or a driveway.
Right.
So I think you need to go to the planning board and see what they are going to require to change or update.
And we're happy to do that. This, to be honest, we didn't request this meeting. We actually had originally approached the post office. They referred us to Deb Egan, who's been very helpful through the process. She asked me to send a letter, and then we were asked to come and address you folks. So, certainly we'll do whatever we need to do to kind of make it happen. But really, safety is our biggest concern. Many of our residents are really over 70. We've got a fair portion, so we're really cognizant of emergency vehicles being able to find people, convenience issue aside.
And Selectman Peterson's correct. This is really out of our venue. This really has to go back to, but you come in the process, you come to the Board of Selectmen first, and now we'll move you over and direct you to the planning board, because they did the original site plan review on the property. The open space residential development special permit they issued, so it needs to go into their venue for them to make the decision. And so,
And I think we'd probably be in agreement that it would be nice to be called Fox Meadow Road, if that's what drive, whatever it is you want to do. I think that would probably be, particularly in terms of the GPS systems and
Right.
things like that, it would really make it, because even looking at the plan we have as part of the paperwork here is, we've kind of penciled in,
Where it
you
is.
know, we got the number and it's kind of penciled in, so I think it would be valuable, but I think the board would probably be supportive of whatever you can do in that vein, but just
Okay, well, we're happy to contact them and file an application with them for that. if that's
maybe
what
something just routine, I don't know.
I went on the planning board just after they started the development, so I remember, some of the issues when the site plan went through. So anyways, just to follow up, the following town departments, the Board of Selectmen provided comments. The Health Department had no concerns, the Board of Assessors, police chief, fire chief, and ZBA. So anyways, we will forward this to the planning board.
Okay.
And
And should we contact them to file an application? Is that the
Yes.
process?
Most definitely.
yes,
Okay.
most definitely. You wanna do
Actually,
that.
so if you call them, their phone number rings here now because we have a vacancy in that department. So
Okay.
we're running the planning department on a day-to-day basis out of this office. So what we could do, Mr. Downey, is make sure that Kurt Bryant, the chairman of the planning board, reviews this. I mean, we're thinking that it's probably an application to modify the existing site plan that was approved in 2004. I know there was an original, then there was an amended one
Right.
within a matter of 5 months in 2004. So it probably just requires this filing of a site plan modification. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that's the direction to go legally, because that needs to be, approved by the planning board, recorded at the registry of deeds, and of course, all the homeowners will need that new revised site plan with a new street name in order to change the deeds on their homes, and all that will be sort of flushed out at the planning board meetings with.
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't think the deeds of the homes will have to change.
Okay.
I coincidentally happen to be a real estate attorney
Okay.
and focus in this area, so I think, we're not looking to change the name of the condo association or anything, so probably a revised site plan delineating the new street name would get recorded.
Banks will have to be notified, I would imagine, correct?
Well, people,
For mortgages and for street
no,
name and
because
all that.
street address doesn't have any legal significance for
Okay.
mortgages or title records. It's all legal descriptions. In the
Okay.
legal description,
Lot description.
it's lot description, or in the case of a condo, it's the book and page of the master deed and the unit number, and none of that will change.
Okay,
So, but I can put something together for the planning board.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful.
yes.
Okay. So should I contact you maybe to
Well,
talk
what I'll
about
do is, I got your contact information, I'm gonna give it to Mr. Bryant and see if he could schedule you for one of their upcoming meetings.
Okay.
I believe they have they have a meeting this Wednesday, but that agenda is full. It would be December 2nd, I believe, Wednesday, December 2nd would be their next, and
Okay.
it would be up to him to schedule you, but I'll certainly let him know that you would be available.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. I
Chairman,
appreciate your
Yes.
comments and your time.
Just one question.
Yeah.
I would wanna, maybe you want to check with the 911 system, 911 emergency system, in order to get the numbers that work for that system. I don't know exactly how it sets up, but I know
Okay.
when the phone company was contemplating that, we had a committee that had to go around and do a lot of adjusting on numbers and things to make it work.
Okay, so who would we now, when I think when I talked to Deb Egan once, I don't know if she's here, but when I talked to her once, she had some sort of a conversation.
That's
Oh, you're Deb. I'm sorry. Well, we had a conversation, I thought we
Right.
talked about that and you had spoken to the police. Is there someone I should contact on that?
No, actually,
I've only talked to her on the
Mr.
phone.
Mary,
but she's been
the
very
police
helpful.
chief is aware of this request. He's
Okay.
reviewed the request. And he does support a name change too, because it will help with the 911 system. When this
Okay.
goes to the planning board level, I think as a rule, the planning board disseminates any changes on applications to the relevant department. So it goes through another review
With the police.
in that
Okay.
forum with the police and the fire
Okay.
and
All
any
right.
other departments. So at that point, these issues will be addressed directly.
Okay.
That's important because when you pick up the phone.
Yeah, right.
And you call.
We don't wanna make it
that
worse.
corres- that-
Yeah.
There's a piece that they call at the station, and that automatically locks the address with the telephone number. So they
Okay.
know with the dispatch, and you want to get that straightened out. That's,
All right.
that's
Terrific.
important.
Just to make sure it's gonna work.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Just out of curiosity, how do you number your building? Is it 541
No, we don't it's
unit number 2 or?
one,
how
yeah,
you do
that's
it?
how you do it now.
Okay.
It's a mouthful, 545 Newburyport
545.
Turnpike.
Yeah, and if you talk to anyone outside of New England, they never get Newburyport,
It even leads to, not getting some packages and things like
Right,
that when
right.
it doesn't go on the address line.
Oh.
There's quite a few problems
Yeah.
inherent with this, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we appreciate
All right.
your time.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all. Okay. I hope everything works out for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, Deb.
Good night now. Open.
As long as the tax bill's okay.
Gotta leave that door open, otherwise we're not open. Open meeting. Oh, get that. There we go. Okay, we got about 14 minutes before our next meeting, our next appointment. And again, that'd be at 8 o'clock with Richard Gagnon, Chairman of the Fire Station Committee, to give us an update. So with that, I'm gonna move on to minutes. Everybody read the minutes for August the 26th, 2013.
Yes.
Any comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to accept the minutes for August 26, 2013. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. August 26, 2013, executive session. Has everybody read them?
Yep.
I have a motion.
I move to accept the minutes of August 26th executive session.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute, did I get a second, or did I just get a motion? That was a
We didn't
motion,
have a
I'm sorry.
second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. October 28, 2013, executive session. Everybody read them?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. November 4th, 2013, everybody read them?
Yep.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Abstain.
JC abstained.
Okay, we have a few minutes before, so I will start to go through, just to review some announcements. Again, Red Cross having their annual blood drive, which will be this Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 26th, between 2 and 6 p.m. The blood drive will be at 19 Bradford Street. That's the VFW Valley Veterans Association. Okay, and if you weren't aware of that, they'll be in. There's a pretty, Dave, you usually go over. I see you there. So there's always a need for blood, especially this time during the holidays. Okay, Raleigh Food Pantry is in need of donations. The Raleigh Food Pantry is open Tuesdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays, 5:30 to 7 p.m. And any number of items they can use. They can use dry goods. Check the if you're going to donate something from your pantry, just check the dates. Make sure they're within dates, because they can't take anything that's out of date. You can drop off. There's a drop off at the library, and there's any place else there's drop off basket. I believe that's the only place there's drop off basket. Okay. Town has the following vacant seats: Conservation Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, Associate, 2 open seats, 2 fence viewer positions, and wood lumber bark inspector. The battery recycling box at the town hall and in the library. You can drop off your A, B, A, triple A's, or any battery that you have. Put them in a plastic bag. It's a good way of getting green up. I said this before. And just drop them off here at the right in the hallway. Okay, the town of Raleigh Housing has this waste collection day for Raleigh residents is Saturday, November 23rd, 2013, from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 at the Raleigh Highway Department, 40 Independent Street. And usually there's a line right early in the morning. You always get rid of them old monitors for your computers, or a TV, or
Fluorescent bulbs.
fluorescent bulbs, anything like that. I got rid of an old air conditioner last time they came through. So if you have anything like that, good way to get dispose of it. U.S. Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots drop-off box is at the town hall. Unwrapped toys can be dropped off on the Friday before Friday, December 6th, 2013. Is that the pickup date for Toys for Tots?
That's what they're
December 6th?
telling us at this point.
Well, that's an
Yeah.
early day.
Sometimes in the past, they have come back when we've had people come after that date that they'll swing by, but for the record, that's what they're telling us.
I think what they do is they have a cutoff date for toys for this year,
Okay.
but anything they collect after that date, I believe they warehouse them and put them towards next year's, from what I've heard. And I'm not positive about that, but I believe that's the way it's worked, so if
Okay.
anybody.
Yeah, it's a little bit
anything
early
at
this
all,
year,
then-
but, okay. I took part years ago when I was in the Marine Corps, many, many years ago, decades ago. I took part in that, and that's a great, for the Marine Corps, that's a big deal every year. And you have the Marine Corps League that takes part in it now, and you have the Marine Corps Reserve and this Toys for Tots. They've been doing this, I think, since 1947 or something like that. It's been a long, long time. So, also, Raleigh Girl Scouts caroling on the Common and tree lighting, Sunday, December 8th at 4 to 5 p.m. on the Raleigh Town Common. That's always a good deal. Go out there and that's the tree lighting too, correct, Bob?
I believe so, if they're gonna light the trees.
Ooh. I've had a lot of comments, Bob.
I know, and I've heard a lot of comments also, and I'm hoping that they do. But I know there was some question at one point in time. I haven't heard anything lately, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that they are going to do it, but
Okay, I hope so.
me too.
All right. Well, we have a couple of minutes, 7 minutes to wait.
Your call.
I know it's my call. We can leave, I don't want to we can bring them in early, can't we? Make a decision, or should we wait till the 8 o'clock hour? All right, we'll wait.
I would say let's bring them in, because we're gonna be here beyond the time anyway. And
It's kind of we did post it, the meeting.
Yeah, we did
as
post
an
it for 8
appointment
o'clock,
at
so
8
we'll have to
o'clock,
wait.
and if somebody wants to, saw the posting and agrees that they wanted
That's
to
true.
participate, and we start early,
That's true.
it's really not fair.
Okay. Nat, can we take a break for about 7 minutes, and we'll take a recess, and we will come back at 8 o'clock, all right? So with that, I have a motion to recess until 8 o'clock.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We will recess until 8 o'clock. Thank you. Have a motion to reconvene the meeting.
Make the motion. Second it.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're back into normal session. And we have an 8 o'clock appointment with Richard Gagnon, Chairman of the Fire Station Committee. And with that, Fire Station Committee Chairman Richard Gagnon will be updating the Board of Selectmen on the Fire Station Committee's work in locating a suitable site for the new fire station. So with that, Dick, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for this opportunity. Several years ago, the Raleigh Board of Selectmen created the Raleigh Fire Station Committee. It was composed of 8 people, and our charter was to look into what is needed, what is necessary in order to move forward in a new fire station for the town of Raleigh. And before I go any further, I just want to recognize that there's 8 people on this board. Myself, Bob Snow, Doug Chadbourne, Tom Hygard, Janet Bridges, Jay Samansky, Chief Broderick, and an associate member, Tom Marsh. And I must tell you that this committee has gone above and beyond in terms of due diligence. I've never seen a group of people so dedicated and so involved in trying to come up with a suitable alternative for the town, and they should be commended. Early on in our meetings, it became apparent that the step number 1 would be to find a suitable piece of land. And so we embarked on that in a couple of different ways. We started by looking at what is the criteria that's necessary, and so we defined criteria that would help us to look for a suitable piece of land. And we looked at a number of issues. We looked at response time, we looked at geography, we had a size restriction, we had access issues, highway issues, the locale, the location, geographic points, traffic patterns. So we defined, we set together a set of parameters that said, okay, let's look at what we have based upon these parameters. And then we went to town hall. The chief obtained a listing of available town-owned property. So we matched it up to the criteria, and we looked at a couple of the pieces of property, and we even went so far as to perk test one of the pieces of land. And what we found was that those particular pieces of property didn't meet the criteria. So then we took it another step further, and we put out, I think it's an RFQ, a request for quotation, for privately owned pieces of property. And we used the same criteria in the specification stream for the RFQ. This is what we're looking for. This is what we'd like to get some information on and try to come up with some alternative. We had several submittals, and on the day of the review of the bids, and we opened them all. And based upon our judgment criteria, we had to reject them all for one reason or another. Okay? So that's where we are today. Now, however, we do have a recommendation as a board. What we'd like to do is get your permission, your approval, to revisit the site that's behind the police station adjacent to the well field. Now, that site's been visited before by the town people, I believe several times, for a number of different structures. And we've talked an awful lot about it, and based on everything that we have seen, and taking into account a lot of other issues like costs to the community and so on and so forth, we feel that we would like to pursue, take it to the next step, take it to the next level, and look at this piece of land, and go back and look at the environmental studies that were done, look at the lot size, its location, the access issues, and so on and so forth. And so that's why I'm here tonight. We've fairly well exhausted, to the best of our knowledge, all the other land options that are available for us within the community. And this piece of land would meet that criteria that we have already spelled out in terms of suitability. But in order to take it to the next step, we felt it prudent to bring it to the Board of Selectmen, give them an idea where we are and where we would like to go with this. And so that's my reason for being here tonight. I know Chief Broderick is with me tonight, and if I've missed anything, I'd like him to just chime up, but I think that pretty much covers it in a nutshell.
Being on the committee, Dick, with you, I want to commend you for, being chairman. You really did the committee did due diligence. I mean, exhausted everything in town, looking at every piece of property. And I have to commend the committee for their work. It's been long, it's been difficult, and this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And the piece of property that Dick is talking about is to the right of the police station. And that is what we need to look at next. And it has been explored in the past, and I think we need to go to DEP and
I think that we need to, there was an article on the town meeting warrant, and probably some of the selectmen remember that were here, I believe it was in 1980 or so, that the land was to be used for municipal water purposes, and at the time, it was an attempt by the town to identify where the well could be located, so they were like testing locations, and ultimately found the location for the well that's there in that area today. So that land obviously is a park right now, playing fields. It's not Article 97 parkland, but it is a general municipal, used as general municipal property for the police station and for Ayers Park and such. So I think there would be some changes in revoting of an article that town council would have to be involved with. And then we also have zoning bylaws, the municipal watershed protection zoning bylaw that covers what is permitted within certain zones of a well. So there are things like that to look at.
Exactly what Debbie has talked about is that those are the next steps that we would like to take as a committee, obviously with your approval. On another note, I've been working closely with Senator Tarr and Representative Brad Hill. Both of them have expressed their complete support in this pursuit. There's more to it than that, obviously, but I found it very comforting and encouraging that both our senator and our representative understand the situation and would give us whatever support they can lend, whatever interaction that's necessary at the state government level to make this happen. So there's another resource for us to explore, and it just brings it. I'm bringing it to you people to put it on your table and have a decision made on that, whether to move forward on this or not.
Okay, Joe, go ahead.
It's far enough from the well area so that it wouldn't compromise the well area.
Yes, it's my understanding, and it's been a while, but it's my understanding that the well field area is divided up into 3 zones. Zone 1 is the immediate area, and I don't know the diameter of it, but Zone 1 is the immediate area around the well where absolutely nothing that can threaten the well is allowed. Zone 2 is a much broader area that surrounds Zone 1, almost like a bullseye target kind of thing. And then Zone 3 is beyond that. And the area of the parcel of land that I remember, and you can enlighten me, that is outside of, completely outside of Zone 1, almost completely outside of Zone 2, and borders Zone 2 and Zone 3. Now, it's my understanding that there is a that you can and have, I think in the past, we have gotten approval to build on Zone 2. Providing that you meet all necessary DEP requirements with regards to water treatment, water drainage, and anything that could compromise not just the well field, obviously, but actually the aquifer. So it goes beyond that. It goes way beyond that. And so that would make it an ideal siting because by nature and by Massachusetts building laws and by NFPA standards, a fire station must conform strictly to good water management, wastewater management. And so it's large enough to to be able to handle a station and all the access, egress requirements, and so on and so forth. It is outside of the zone number 1, almost outside of, partially in zone 2 and zone 3. Zone 3 is an unaffected area. You can pretty much, again, you need to follow specified guidelines, but zone 3 has even fewer restrictions to it.
Again, this is adjacent to the police station. The police station
That's
is
correct.
in zone 2.
Police station is zone 2. It's adjacent to the police station. It's in the area where the old where Smith Lane is, up in that area. I believe there's a Aris parking is there.
Yes.
So even now it's being used as a parking lot. So it's
And again, I want to emphasize, a reminder, but the police station is there.
the police station is there exactly. So it's not something that hasn't been done before.
Right.
So we come before you because I can tell you that at this point, this committee has looked at all the property in the community that met the criteria, and even some of the property that didn't meet the criteria, but was close enough that we could, take a look. We felt it necessary to take a look at it. And unfortunately, this is the position that we're in. And the plus side of it is that it is municipal town land. It is owned by the town. So even though we went out and looked at RFQs for purchasing land, that's an expense that we would not have to incur and put the town through that kind of a fiscal process.
Any questions from the board?
Dick, have you contacted anyone on the water board and gone in there? I was prior on the water board. I'm pretty familiar with, if you were going in Smith Lane, the left is a police station, go down into the ball field. Roughly 200 feet halfway down in Smith Lane, there's 3 test wells. And I see that there's no problem at all.
Yeah.
If you went like a couple of 100 feet from there into zone 1,
Yeah.
and there's no actually withdrawal in that area, I mean, to me, I should be ample room.
Yeah.
I think you guys did a good job, and I think that's a spot.
Well, thank you.
And the other thing, just to go, we're talking fire station. Have we ever talked to public safety?
We haven't we haven't moved in any direction in terms of building design or building style. Okay, so that would be the next step for the committee once we can have some kind of an assurance that the land will be available. Now, but to go back to your original point, have we gone to the water board? Okay, we felt that it was not our place at this particular point in time to address the water board, but rather bring it to the Board of Selectmen, get guidance and permission from this board to take the next step. And obviously the next step then becomes contacting the water board, the DEP, the assessor's office, and looking at all of those other now issues that will have to be looked at if we're going to seriously think about that piece of land. It's still no guarantee, but at least it gives us the okay to say, okay, now we can take those next steps without going beyond the, say, chain of command or something like that, and getting people involved where, it wouldn't have been good for us to go to the water board without notifying you people first about what our thoughts were and how this was going to be. So that's kind of why we did it that way.
Well, any other questions?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. Maybe in moving forward, I'd like to follow a couple of tacks, or see the board think about following a couple of tacks. Number one would be, as a result of tonight's meeting, if we have the town administrator in conjunction with the town attorney tell us exactly what steps we need to follow to make this land available for a building site. So that, because I think we need to move on this quite quickly. So
Yes.
that, I think our goal would be to have something prepared for the spring town meeting.
That's our thoughts exactly.
Secondly, one of my concerns, since I've been back on the board, is the situation with the police department. We're in, I believe, our third 4-year lease of
Temporary.
buildings. That a couple of years ago, we had trouble with snow on the roof, and it definitely needs to be replaced. We're spending $30,000 a year to lease those buildings. They're totally inadequate in terms of energy efficiency for heat and stuff like that. We're paying something like $9,000 to lease the fire department building from the association. So we're dealing with close to $40,000 a year we're paying out in lease payments that a new building would definitely be advantageous to. And I would suggest that maybe at this point that the fire chief and the police chief and maybe the chairman or another member of the Board of Selectmen sit down together and come to a determination as to what each would be looking for if we were to develop that site together, so that we have, number one, an idea of how to get the site into a position that we can use it, and secondly, at the same time, we're looking at how can the two departments together work together to make the site, and then ultimately probably look for some money in the spring to come up with some real planning issues. And we do have some money available from an old article on the fire station site that we could use to begin if we need some preliminary information. But I just think it's absolutely critical that we move on this ASAP, and if we do at least these two things, and then there are maybe other things we can do too, but I think it's critical that the fire chief and the police chief and the Board of Selectmen are in sync on kind of what's needed, and then in conjunction with a committee or another committee, I don't know what kind of building committee we're gonna have to put together, but at least we get the information, solid information, and there may be other information we need too, but at least get us all working on the same table and do it in a fairly rapid manner at this point, so we're prepared for 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it takes, articles for the Springtown meeting, when we're gonna be looking for funding and maybe some legal votes to change the use of that land.
I think the very first thing we do, take this, as Dave just said, take this under recommendation from the committee, move forward, find out about the land, Deb, and explore legal,
Well, I think we
with
need
town
to,
attorney first.
right, I think we need to get the DEP
DEP,
approval to be able to use that piece of land.
In the water bo- in the
Given
water
its
board.
history.
Yes.
With the water article and so forth. I think that's the very next step that we need to take. We need to take it now.
Mhm.
Get that done. And then we can start branching out from there and decide what we need to do to make it happen.
And I think you've heard from the Board of Selectmen here, there's some, both sides of the board, you've heard some inquiries about a public safety building. So that moves it into a different discussion with the board, and I think that we come back and explore that as a board. So with that, very first thing, let's move on the land, okay? We'll do that rapidly, and then we'll take this under advisement, bring it to the board, and then within the next week or two, we will discuss where we want to go, the next step as a Board of Selectmen.
Can we put out a request to the fire chief and the police chief and
Yes.
maybe yourself, Mr. Chairman, to, for have a discussion? I'm not looking at anything at this point, just to meet and have a discussion and see what common ground there is in moving this forward, because obviously we voted in this a number of years ago, and it got voted down, and then the whole thing kind of got dropped. And I think
We
we
have
need
two
to build support.
Two selectmen
Big time
tonight
for this
brought up
now.
public safety building, okay? So this moves it
Yeah.
in a different direction.
Well, just so you know, this is not a conversation that we have not had as a committee. Okay, we've bounced this around quite a bit in terms of, a rough definition of what type of facility do we think is going to be appropriate. Obviously, our first concern was the fire station, because that was our charter. But we have included in that conversation, the whole concept of either a combined public service facility or two separate stations on the same, two separate buildings on the same land, or joining them somehow. So that's not a conversation that we haven't had already. So we've broken the ground in that regard. As the board, we have mixed emotions and mixed opinions as to how best to follow on that. But we cannot go beyond where we are now without.
The very first thing we have to do is find out about the land. And then we'll come back as a board and discuss what we want to do about a building on that site.
Right, and I think what we need to do is look at the actual cost. I think part of the problem we've had for the last 12, 15 years trying to get this project off the ground, actually, it's been close to that, because I was on the board of selectmen in 1999 and we were talking about this. And I think it's money. Now, if we can build a combination public safety building for X number of dollars, that's great. What would it cost to build a fire station and a police station? What is the difference between those two
Right.
figures?
Right.
And I think that's something we need to determine, and then we need to sell it to the community.
I would like to engage, oh, I'm sorry,
Well,
Bob.
go ahead, but I
I
mean,
would-
at this point, I think we need to go after the land. Once we
Yes.
get that locked down and know that we can use it, then we need to step out and start doing the rest of it.
And that was the charter that we accepted 2 years ago, that we knew that we can't go anywhere without nailing down the land issue first.
Right.
And as I said earlier in the meeting, you know, we've exhausted all possibilities. You know, so, you know, to me, it's become apparent that not just as the chair of the committee, but also as a citizen of the town of Raleigh, we know this has to happen. There's no doubt about it. We know we have to move forward in getting this done, and we know that this piece of land is at least a consideration that we can explore, and that's what we want to do.
And to the community at home, listening to our conversation here tonight, remind everybody, if we had voted the public safety building back in, what, 2004, was it, 2002? We would have had a
1999.
building up, we would have had it at a much lower price, and we would have had a lower interest rate right now. We would have refinanced on the building. So, you know, pay me now or pay me later. That's how I look at life. So, have to look at, you know, the bottom line. To me, always, it's the bottom line.
Absolutely, and working closely with the chief, you know, we've gone back and re-explored all of those limitations that he's working under. And, you know, that has to be brought back into the forefront, because that is an extremely serious consideration that needs to be brought back to the table. The conditions, the existing conditions that the current fire station is working under, that has to change. And in all reality, you know, it doesn't take much to look at that situation and say this cannot go on much further, much longer. But there are dire consequences if we allow this to continue. And we really, it's our responsibility to try to resolve this.
But I think, Mr. Chairman, that when you look at the current weather events in the last couple of years between floods and snowstorms and snow accumulations, when the police station almost caved in up there because of the trailer situation, you got tornadoes and hurricanes, and I mean, the weather seems to be, for whatever reason, is certainly getting worse, and both of our public facilities, especially the fire department, but also the police department for emergency response purposes, is that they're both inadequate, unsafe, and very vulnerable to a lot of the weather that we may well be facing in the next few years. I think it's critical that we get a facility that we can provide a public safety services for in the event of a emergency, whether it's weather or whatever. But we're just so totally unprepared, not because we aren't trying, but because of facilities we're trying to work out of are just, I mean, they're woeful. The fire department is there, but at least the police department has got some space and some stuff up there. The fire department it's woeful. We can't even buy a fire engine that fits in there anymore.
We have to protect our
really
investment, and I'm talking about the fire equipment, and the
Well, your
police
investment is
cruisers and all
also the
that. These are
community,
investments.
you know, the
Yes.
community structure. I work closely with MEMA, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, in the work that I do. And everything is based upon preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. And those are the key words that are used in any emergency management situation. And preparedness really is exactly what we're discussing tonight. To have an emergency management structure in the community that is well prepared to respond to those emergencies that need to be responded to. And once the response is over, then you have the mitigation. You try to bring in things to mitigate, and then have the recovery process, and all of that ties together. But it can't come together unless you've got a good, strong public safety infrastructure. And I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that's good. No, Dick, no, thank you
Dick,
very much.
the thing it is, like Mr. Peterson said, we're facing many changes at the fire station. You can't get a new ladder truck in there. What do you do?
Exactly.
Put canvas, make a, myself, I'm for the fire station. But look, like you just said, we gotta have the public safety. When someone calls, they need us, police, fire, and you gotta have a place for them to work out of, and we need the public safety. So you vote the fire station next year, 2 years you come down, the chief, and you vote you put them both together. And the interest rates are way down. People are gonna buy this now. I mean, I really think that put the committee, the selectmen, we get together and put the chips on the table and go.
And as I said,
we're playing around. I mean, I've been on this board 8 years, and it's still, where are we? We're nowhere. The chief's right here tonight. If you're gonna buy another ladder truck, you're gonna get it in down there? Huh? No, truthfully, I mean.
We found one that would fit.
Okay.
With some minor modification.
Modification.
All right.
To
Oh,
get it
go
in.
ahead,
You
chief.
really can't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we did find one that would fit in the building, but we have to change the kitchen, and then it would fit in there, but it'll be tight. The truck itself will be ideal for the community.
Well, everything I see down there, chief, you gotta put your head down to walk
I gotta
straight
do that,
through the
walk
door,
upstairs to my
and you have
office,
to
so,
do,
but, we did find one that would fit, and it's a brand new one. And of course, talked to the salesman today. I'll be having numbers. But you're not wrong. Took a lot to find something.
We can't work on that any further.
And I remember the
It's
phone
not a-
call, Chief Barker, about the roof caving in 2 years ago that I received early in the morning. So we
Yeah, you
we
have to
need
get help in a hurry, just,
Yes.
or it would've caved in.
You would've
Shovel the
caved in. We
snow
had to
off.
shovel the roof off, And again, this is temporary construction, okay? This reminds me when I was in the Marine Corps, and all the buildings we had were TC, on the TC 194, temporary construction. They were put up in World War II. It was still
Keep
there,
patching.
temporary construction, so we need to move.
We had a lot of-
Last time we bought a pumper truck, we had this exact same discussion when we
Yes.
bought
Yep.
the last 2 pumper trucks when I've been around.
Yeah.
So very first thing,
we
I-
We need a
one
station,
more-
so.
we have a
Yes.
lot of talent on this committee. Financial talent, design talent, business talent, and they've all really, thrown full support into this. And you should be very happy with the people that are on this committee because they've really, really worked hard at it. So that's where I wanted to end with this. And
I want to thank you, Dick, for your leadership on the committee. You did a splendid job keeping, it's like herding cats with us, But no, you did a great job, and the committee did a great job. And again, you're right, we have talent, architects, we have an architect, we have a financial person. We had soup to nuts on this committee. They have done a great job. I think the very first thing we need is to move forward, look at the land.
Look at the land.
Look at the
Right.
land. So could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion
Make that
to look
motion.
into the
And I'll
land.
second.
And second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will come back and we
Mr.
will,
Mr. Chairman?
yes,
Could I make a motion that we at the same time get the two chiefs together with the Board of Selectmen, representatives from the Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
So that we're moving together in tandem and not waiting for one thing to happen then the other, and so that the idea being here that the chiefs can get an idea of what they might be looking for in a new facility, whether it be one building combined or two separate buildings, or like Jack mentioned, maybe, financing, if we can do construction, obviously, both projects together, you're gonna save money because it's a bigger project, but it depends on what the taxpayers wanna vote for, assuming they do, but I mean, we might have to do it in two phases, but at least begin to get an idea from the public safety people what their needs are, so that when we're ready, if we find out we can do this, that we're ready to start looking at, well, all right, now how are we gonna do? We kinda have an idea of what the chiefs are looking for.
Interestingly enough, that was one of the side conversations that we as a committee had, was that, okay, and we went on the, if we get the land kind of approach, what would we be looking at? How would we start looking at a station? And we started throwing out all these different ideas. And one of the ideas was exactly that we might want to consider a design such that the building is located on the lot, but one side of it is expandable, so that you can eventually tie two units together as one. So those are the kinds of conversations that have come out of all of this, and there'll be more.
And I would love to see what the chiefs have to say
And I think
about
that
that whole
when we
concept and
move into-
those concepts.
When we move into that area, I think that comes to a political decision with the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
And that's something we need to make the decision, not the committee, but the committee did due diligence so far. So with that, what does next week look like, or the week after for?
Mr. Chairman, we're probably gonna have some things next week.
Next
that
week?
We need to
Okay.
discuss.
That, okay.
I think actually we need to nail the land down first.
Yes.
We need to nail that down and nail it down.
Let's move
tight.
on that, then we will come back and explore that, and we'll do that
Or can we have the
rapidly.
chiefs meet in the meantime? I'm not saying they don't have to come before the committee here, but have them start discussions amongst themselves, and maybe one of us, just to see
Sure.
what we're looking at, so that if and when, I don't doubt that we're gonna be able to do something with the land, and it's just a matter of trying to, I just wanna see this thing moving forward.
Well, I'll meet with the two chiefs, how's that, okay?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Because as you know, Mr. Chairman, that already the police chief has had a list of
Yes.
items and things in the existing building that need to be upgraded and changed. So the sooner they start working on that, and getting their list together, and maybe having some discussions would facilitate this.
Okay, so we'll explore the land, and then I'll meet with the chiefs, okay? That sound good?
What's it look like, Debbie, with talking with town council and to move quickly?
Well,
I mean, we just
think
don't
I have
wanna,
to look, we already did this, the selectmen did this. I was with Jack Demento and Chief Broderick and we went into the TEP, we looked at the article, they said this land, shouldn't be considered water land, under for municipal water purposes, because it isn't. And it just needed to really have another town meeting article to put it into general municipal land. So I would have to, just, dig up the article again, find the
explore
file in the
that.
basement, or just,
It sounds positive that they're able to do this.
We
That's
can-
why I say I'd like to see, at the same
Yeah, I
time,
know.
start moving on the other
well,
front.
I'm
too.
glad the committee, cause I mean, all along, I was thinking that's a spot to go. We brought it up, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that it could be worked up there. And I think it can be done, can be worked.
Again, Dick,
Yeah.
thank the committee for
Thank
the
you.
Board of
Thank you.
Selectmen, okay? For
I will.
Again, I think you're right, due diligence, that's the word, they really did, so. Thank you for being chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Dick, thank you. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Chief, good night.
Chief, good to see you.
I'll be in touch.
Oh, sure.
Good night. Right now. All right, I did all the announcements and everything else, anything else on the board? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion,
Second.
yeah, the pass game is on tonight? Have a motion to adjourn?
Jack,
Dave
second.
made it, didn't he?
Yeah, motion, I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone, we will see you next week. Thank you very much.